Greetings, good listeners. I'm Shaunga, Multiverse Historian. In this video, I'll be sharing some of my thoughts around the tension between Ancestor time and Capitalism time, what it means for us as artists, healers, humans dedicated to protecting the earth and her longevity. Plus, I'll be decoding a message that my future partner gave to me during the Ancestor Hour. So, in my last Instagram video, I spoke about the different layers of what it could mean if the ancestors are waking you up at the Ancestor Hour, which I know to be 4 to 6 a.m. So you can check the links in the show notes for the link to that Instagram video as I took you through kind of the different layers of what it could mean. But here I want to talk to you about what happened when my partner sent me a message this morning in the Ancestor Hour. So, in other words, my incorporeal future partner woke me up at 5 a.m. this morning, hot off the presses, like ancestors often do. So this morning, I roll over, and he's lying next to me, and he says, "Shaunga, tell me what's wrong. Talk to me. Talk to me and tell me the truth about what's really going on. What's really wrong? Tell me." What happens next? What happens between my future partner and I in the wee hours of the morning during the Ancestor Hour? That story is for inner circle eyes and ears only. You need a VIP backstage pass for that part of the story. Are you kidding me? I ain't about to divulge that information for random people wandering around YouTube. What's a VIP backstage pass, you ask? Well, between August to October, I'm hosting a 3-month collective artist fundraiser where I'll be guiding folks through self-study, global study, multiverse study on the principle of heal yourself, heal your lineages, heal the world. So I'll be sharing regular episodes on my podcast for free, open to the public, and also sharing exclusive podcast episodes and stories that are for inner circle only. And that you can access with a VIP backstage pass. So you can listen to the introductory episode for this campaign on the podcast now in public. It's available. And the first VIP episode drops the first week of August 2024. So be sure to check out the campaign, check out the show notes, and grab a pass if you feel so inclined to know more about that story that I'm not telling you right now. In this video, I do, though, want to share something of meaning, hopefully, for you. And I want to share some thoughts around decoding the message that my partner gave to me this morning. So what does that mean? Tell me the truth about what's really going on. What's really wrong? Okay, so when we are decoding messages from our ancestors or our dreams, we can learn to look at what we're receiving with the eyes and ears of a detective. Okay, we can learn to think like a ceremonialist or an altar keeper, even if that's just looking at the earth as a whole as an altar, right? And our personal lives as dedicated ceremony, whatever that means to you. So, what is my partner trying to tell me? What is he trying to wake up in me, point me toward, or pay attention to? Tell me the truth about what's really going on. What's really wrong? Okay. Detective Shaunga. Well, this reminds me of something I covered in my last podcast episode, the introductory to this campaign. It's called PSA, Public Service Announcement. What do we do about humanity? So in this episode, I ask, I go through a journey in this episode, and at one point I get to the point where I'm like, why are some of the most powerful healers on the planet some of the most under-resourced, under-recognized, and unknown? In other words, why are some of the people who have the most resources for humanity the same people who are not being resourced by humanity? So I listen and observe in my stealthy Scorpio rising way to a lot of what people are saying in the collective, whether that's on the internet or with my quantum listening, right? I'm observing and I'm like, a lot of people are saying things like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to address this problem, that problem, whether it's, personal or collective problem. And I'm looking at people and I'm like, you're one of the most powerful healers in the world. You know exactly what to do. You have so much ancestral wealth. You could do anything with that. Why are you pretending that you don't know how powerful you are? I'll use myself as an example. For the past year especially, I've been like, I don't know what to do about money. I'm concerned. I'm not finding success for my work. I'm not finding a big enough audience that can sustain and reciprocate the truth and volume of what I have to give. And that's really scary in a context of surviving capitalism. But I have to root down and tell myself the truth. Like, am I really concerned about the success of my work? No. I know, even if I have 53 people on my Instagram currently, that I have absolute gold in my hands. I know the minute I am ready to put this forward with ground underneath me that is really good, success is no problem. It's going to find its people. It's going to find its place in the world. I know it will. The problem isn't that I don't know what to do. The problem is that I just needed more time. I needed time to work through the density in my energy field in order to till the soil and make sure the ground is really good for what I want to grow. My stress around money isn't, I don't know how to pay the bills. The stress is actually, I do know exactly what I need to be doing in this moment, but there isn't a collective culture practiced, awakened, and available to resource the particular place on the altar right now that I need to sit. This campaign I'm running is about actively shifting the culture and training ourselves to recognize and reciprocate under-resourced and underserved parts of the creative process and healing journey that really need to be resourced in order for us all to get free. So, what are some under-resourced parts of the creative process? Here are some examples that I listed from the podcast episode. The learning phase, when you're studying and developing creative and spiritual gifts. Holding stillness and patience for major transformation instead of rushing toward clarity and results that you can sell. The end of life phase with loved ones, or even ending and transitioning major chapters of your life where you're really just supposed to spend time, enjoy, celebrate, grieve, provide, and receive care. How about child care, animal care, earth stewardship, elder care, solitude, self-care? How about times of receiving and healing your erotic body, where your job isn't anything other than experiencing pleasure and sharing that with others? What about times of adventure, when you must release all the ways you've taken too much responsibility in the collective and now your job is just to embrace spontaneity? Fun, let loose a little bit, let your spirit move you wherever it'll take you. There's a whole list that I share in that episode, and all these things that I just named are places on our collective altar that I personally need to sit right now and apprentice. The earth requires me to do this job right now, not run around trying to figure out how to do a million other things so that I can do this. No, just this right now. and the earth requires me to be very well reciprocated and taken care of while I do this very important planetary service work, as she does for all of us on this life path. So my question to you as our first study prompt for this fundraiser, look through the list or listen to the podcast episode, right? And tell me the places on that list that you are called to be right now. What part of the creative process do you know in your bones is truly calling your attention? And where do you need resources and support in order to do your job? The stress around money isn't necessarily how do I survive capitalism. It's actually, as I see it, a more nuanced conglomerate. It's the fact that as we grow more powerful in our ancestral healing and planetary missions, we will inevitably return to moving according to ancestral time. It'll be harder for us to fit inside the demands of capitalist time. Simultaneously, we have to recognize where we are in history, herstory, them story. What time is it on Earth's clock? We can't just ignore capitalism or be overpowered by it. We have to find ways to work with it, to work it, and through it. The time to go hard in transmuting capitalism and dismantling it is now. But going hard for that transmutation in many ways means softening, going slower, going deeper. There is an energy of what I would call peaceful aggression in moments. There's a lot of courage required in terms of facing our fears, sharing our hearts and voices. The courage to look deeper at the shadows within and all around. There's an energy that can be sharp, precise, and fast moving sometimes, but there is also a great amount of rooting down into the strength, the longevity, the patience, the endurance, the abundance, and even the luxury that surrounds the exhaustion of the endurance of these long-lasting, sturdy movements we find deep within the earth. Sit with that one, huh? The luxury that surrounds the exhaustion of the endurance. Dang, right? Shout out to my Ancestor's writer's room for that one. Timekeeping is recognizing that huge parts of the capitalism transmutation process is happening slowly and quickly over the next 20 years of Pluto in Aquarius. And then we're really going to see systems and industries for real dismantling during Pluto in Pisces, which will start in 20 years. By then, we will have a lot of alternative pathways, cultures, and systems set up so that when things fall, we have safe, thriving places for the collective to land and to grow. So right now, the question for those of us on this life path isn't how do I survive capitalism? It's how do we shift ourselves so that we can protect each other through the long game of transmuting capitalism and make sure that we are thriving enough in order to do our jobs. Right now, this pattern emerging of I don't know what to do, including in myself, may be indication that you are caught in the crossfire of battling paradigms like converging tectonic plates, and you don't know what to do in those paradigms. You can't fit into them. You can't survive them. Your real task is to assist the rising of a completely new paradigm. What are the battling paradigms? Okay, let's look in this one paradigm over here. We got money magic that isn't concerned with the transmutation of capitalism, just in accumulating as much wealth as you can before it collapses. Or it's kind of like getting one of those P-Wings, in Mario 3, like Nintendo, Super Nintendo days, right? Like one of those P-Wings that you get them, and then you can fly above the whole level, and you don't have to interact with anything happening on the ground. You don't have to fight the bad guys or whatever. You can just fly across with your P-Wing. We'll talk about that one more later. Okay, but that's one paradigm. In another paradigm, we reject money altogether for various spiritual and political reasons. But then we're not actually doing any transmutation work with it either, right? Because you actually have to bring money into your life in order to transmute it. And this is about not just money, it's about our relationship to money and the values that we have around that, around reciprocity and exchange, all of that. And, okay, this isn't an all encompassing statement, right? Like if your lineage has accumulated massive amounts of generational wealth through violent means, your planetary directive might just be to give it back, right? But everyone's specific and complicated relationship with their lineage financial healing is another conversation. Another battling paradigm says, I do all my hardcore planetary healing work underground, right? Nobody knows my name. I'm safe here. But for a lot of people, we're finding it's not working anymore, including for myself, because I am actually connected to ancestors who have been doing this unknown, unnamed work for too long, and they want to be seen and known. They want more freedom and safety to express themselves. They want more widespread reciprocity and recognition. The paradigm we're rising and raising is exactly what this fundraiser is about. It's about protecting the life path, out loud and in public, the entire life path, every single part of the process we are called to serve at any given moment, because every part is so crucial right now. We need to put money on our names, those of us who are really in this game, in this part of the movement, okay? We need to put money on every part of the collective altar we are called to sit. Now is the time to start making collective innovative solutions on how we make those shifts. We need to make sure everyone on this life path is protected and that the life path as a whole is protected. So let's go back to this question that my partner asked me. Tell me the truth. What's really going on? Which then led me to the observation and question. Why? Why are some of the most powerful healers, including me, acting like I don't really know what's going on? So when I get into that headspace of like, I don't know what to do about money, I don't know how my work is going to find success, I genuinely have those challenges. They are real. They're not fun. My physical, social, financial body sorely needs healing. It needs support and reciprocity. And also, what is that voice and why? What is telling me that I don't know what's actually going on? Is it an infiltration coming from one of those converging tectonic plate paradigms? Trying so hard to distract me from knowing myself and from making truly revolutionary moves for this rising paradigm? Or is this a heist movie? Am I chained to the wall like the Eight of Swords? Or like Buffy in that season 3 episode called Enemies? Just playing a narrative out and waiting for just the right moment to easily lift my hands out of those chains as they fall to the ground and say, psych, because I had the key all along and I undid those chains a long time ago. Why? Because the ancestors We're conspiring in the name of cross-cultural ancestral solidarity in spirit of 3 words. Freedom for our earth and her entire body, not next time, in our lifetime. Because the ancestors were doing something behind the scenes and they needed time to do it. What were they doing? What were our assured and certain spirits doing? We were stretching time itself. If you want a deep dive on the multiverse study of what it means to stretch time, you should listen to 2 of my previous podcast episodes called The Time Loop and Time is a Heartbeat. Links in the show notes. But essentially, stretching time means instead of going from point A to B, you go deeper, right? You go from point A all the way down to B. Instead of like this, you go like this. It takes longer to get to where you're going because you're going deeper. We stretch time like that. That is the work of transmuting capitalism. That is the heist. We slow down. We go deeper. We take more time with ourselves, our lives. We address more of what's really going on in those deeper parts of ourselves. And we resource ourselves and each other accordingly. By doing this, we collectively give the earth more time. We resource her. In capitalist time, she doesn't complete her full orbit. That's the greatest injustice before us right now. Capitalism is stealing her time and so many others with it. Everything she could experience in her life if we protected her birthright, her full orbit, if we put ourselves on the line so that she could live and die in her own time. This is a heist movie, people. Don't forget that. The fundraiser I'm hosting is my small and powerful contribution over the next 3 months to explore what that looks like for us right now. And those who really want to study with me and get the most out of what I'm sharing can grab that VIP backstage pass where I'll be sharing exclusive parts of the story and teachings with an inner circle. When my partner said to me, "Tell me the truth of what's really going on," he's illuminating something that I really need right now. I need an inner circle to gather around my voice, my wisdom, my humanity, and my inherent friendship with the planet. I need more people who I can talk to about what's wrong. A circle I can tell the truth to about what's really going on in my heart, in my spirit, in what I see around me. I need to be held by a group of people who I can trust. Because in a heist movie, they call it Ocean's 11 for a reason, right? They don't call it Ocean's 1. This ain't Ocean's 1, people. There's no way we can accomplish a heist as complicated as this without being in community. Like they do in those movies, like we need to recognize and protect each other's gifts and talents. We need to be comparing notes and portals, right? We need to make sure we have each other's backs. In spirit of Ocean's 11, I was going to say, I'm looking for the first 11 people to join this VIP backstage pass area with me. But, I'm sure they've had a million sequels by now, and we can do better. So let's just say 15. Who are the first 15 people who are joining this today? If it's you, come on in. And if it's not, You can take some time and, well, I ask, can you take some time and think about if there are people in your life who are looking for exactly this, and can you send it to them? Please help me amplify this. Bonus, those who become VIP members have the option to get paid and earn commissions for helping me amplify this campaign, help me spread this work, help me reach new audiences. And you can start earning commissions as early as next week after August 4th. Yeah, so check that out. And please, if you run into any tech problems and trying to access this, just you send me an email, send me a DM or whatever, because we are moving into a Mercury retrograde period. So, if things are a little wobbly, bear with me. I'll make sure that everyone who needs to come in comes in. So, with that said, check all the links in the description below for everything that I, said that I would link. And let's get pumped, people, because this Lionsgate is truly remarkable.